world. And we are connected by this amazing supernatural ability to move your blood with intention. And all of this can be done naturally with exercise. If only I could show you how great it is to feel young again. Hi, my name is Peter Jung. For the past 6 years, I've been coaching entrepreneurs to achieve and maintain their ultimate health, getting them to improve their blood circulation, coordination, and posture that increases their immunity and their recovery. I help entrepreneurs heal from stress and pain through body weight exercises so they can have the energy, attention, and less sick days. Everyone has the capacity to heal when you move your blood to the right areas. And you can do this in the comfort of your home. As a martial artist and a graduate in kinesiology, I'm going to show you how to integrate the Eastern and Western philosophies so that you can have the independence in your health.
Oh, sorry guys. Okay, I'm just gonna fast forward to the second part. Okay, so the question I want you to we're gonna always come back to this question. This is, what is the #1 health goal as an entrepreneur? That will 10 times your business, all right? So we all know that how we think, how we act, and how we feel are part of the same system. And this is what we call ourselves, right? So I want you to consider, what is the #1 health goal as an entrepreneur, which will 10 times your business? And this is a question that's going to come out throughout the presentation over and over. So I want you to reflect on this question. Okay, so what is ultimate health? My definition of ultimate health is optimal energy, vibration, and frequency in these relationships. So health, wealth, and personal relationships, your mind, your body, your soul connection, your mental, emotional, and physical health. And like I said earlier, how you think, how you act, and how you feel. So we're gonna go back to the same question. How will this impact your business, where it will tenfold your business? So there's one health goal that is going to change your life, okay? So I just want to talk about ultimate health kind of through my story, just so that you understand the psychological and like the growth that comes with ultimate health. So my call was, let's just say it goes back to the senior year of my high school. Going into the senior year, all my friends, they kind of knew what they were doing. They wanted to, so a lot of them wanted to be lawyers, doctors, accountants, and all these professional jobs. But I wasn't exactly the 90s student. I was decent. I was getting 85s, but I wasn't at the point where I can go into those med school programs. So I didn't have an idea of what I wanted to do, but I knew I liked fitness. But at the time I had a weak self-image, I'd say. I was a little overweight, so I was lacking confidence. I was a little shy. Didn't really know how to communicate with people other than like me playing video games with my friends or playing sports at school. Wasn't really the best at communication. And definitely the most indecisive person when it comes to like what I wanted to do for myself, what I wanted to do in life. I was always the follower. So here's the thing, that none of that really mattered. And where I was going in life, that didn't even matter. What really mattered was me getting a prom date, just as any high school student would go through, right? So I knew I wanted to get a prom date, and the only way for me to get there is to be motivated that I should look better. So like I said, I had a little bit of weakness in my self-esteem, my self-image. And so I decided to take a home workout program called P90X. It's very similar to Insanity. It's also part of Beachbody. And I ended up losing 40 pounds within 3 months. So all I knew was that if I hustled as hard as I could definitely like look a little different. I didn't really say how much weight I want to lose. I just said, you know what, let's just try our best and see what I look like at the end of this. So that being said, let's fast forward. At the end of 90 days, I was really excited about what kind of person I looked like in the mirror. Like I had abs for the first time. People at school were noticing, and it just got like to a point where I was like, wow, like this is nice. I don't want to ever go back to where I used to be. But at the end of 90 days, I didn't really have a structure. I didn't know what I was doing. I just had to follow this workout program called P90X. So I ended up doing it 3 to 4 more times, and my body didn't really change because I was following the same system. It's like you do a plan, it changes your life in some way, but you keep doing the same plan over and over, you're going to realize that you end up hitting a plateau because the plan that you're doing is actually keeping you where you are. So Yeah, that being said, I knew that at the end of the year, like, even though I didn't get a prom date, I'm like, okay, well, at least I know for myself that I want to be able to teach people how to take these results and explain it to them with science, explain it to them in a way that is practical so that I can teach people how to lose weight, build some muscle, and possibly create a home workout for them, programming for them in the future. So I ended up going to university and I learned a bunch of skills when it comes to building muscle, losing weight, building strength, improving your flexibility. And this is what happened in 2020 from January to February 14th. This is the results I got from completing 12,000 push-ups, 3,000 sit-ups, 5,000 squats. But like the number is not really important. But what's important is that I realized that you just need one success at the beginning. The first time you have your success, it serves as a template and it can recreate results in the future. And that's the reason why people should be confident. People should be confident because as long as you try it once and you see success, now you have a template that you can repeat over and over. Because a lot of people have trouble when it comes to maintenance, right? Because they think that they have to go through all these sacrifices and, you know, you have to continue to compromise. But if you end up going back to your old lifestyle, then that's a choice that you made. But if you decide to go back to your own lifestyle for a little bit, just so that you can restore your nervous system, hey, you can always do this whole journey all over again. So we're going to come back to this picture at the end of the presentation. So let's move forward to the journey. So like I said, at the very beginning, the first two pictures over here, I lost 40 pounds within 3 months. And the first lesson that I learned from losing 40 pounds was that girls are people as well. You need to communicate with your words. It's not about getting the most attractive body that makes you feel confident. It's about loving yourself and also sharing that love with people. So I didn't get what I want, but I went to school and I knew what I wanted to do for people. And the main lesson that I learned is that, again, your first success serves as a blueprint. And all I had to do was replicate the results. So the question is, what really is confidence? Is it thinking that you know, or is it knowing that you can consistently reproduce a specific result with efficiency? So the truth is that no pain, no gain mentality didn't actually last for me forever. And the grass is not always greener. As much as the pictures will show here that I've made a progressive slope, as you see in the bottom left corner, you can see that I have a nice pregnancy belly. This is the time, I think in third year university, I realized that there was a Krabby Joe's, which is like a pub right next to my spot. And every Tuesday, we would go get 39-cent chicken wings. And I ended up consuming like 2 to 3 pounds every single week. So as you can see, the journey is not always that perfect straight line positive slope that we see in pictures. It's exactly like entrepreneurship. It's up and down, and it's wiggling round and round, and you don't exactly know where your life is heading. So that's why it's so important to track your progress. Okay, so let's move forward. Okay. Okay, so the thing is, like I said, not life is not always exactly a positive straight line. So let me talk about the pit in my life. So essentially in 2010, my father went on disability and my mother became the primary caretaker. We lost a lot of income and that caused me to become the primary financial provider for my family. And throughout the years, I wasn't really aware of how much debt my parents had incurred over time as of a loss of income, because they didn't really want to burden me being a student in school. But I shortly realized in 2017 that my family was at risk for losing the house because we were kind of reaching the end of our line of credit. And if we didn't make income by September 2017, we were going to lose our house. So I knew I had to make money fast. I didn't know how to get a job really quickly, but I knew I was really good at personal training. And that's all I knew. I wasn't really good at sales. I was just good at personal training. And so I went to Good Life Fitness because I knew that they were 100% commission job. And yeah, they have 10% commission for every sale that you make. There's no guaranteed pay, but I knew that if I wanted to make enough money by September, I had to have no commission cap and I had to make sure that I hustled my ass off. So in the first 2 months, so I got hired. I told people about my experience. I had pictures to show the employer, and they ended up saying, okay, you have the life experience to help someone. And in the first 2 months, this is where I realized that your resume doesn't really mean much if you don't know how to communicate with people. So I was just going onto the floor. I was trying to bring them into consultations, really talk to them, that motivational talking, getting their emotions positive and negative, and getting them to feel really insecure about what they're doing already. And then I tried to close them, just like the typical salesman approach that you'd see in like Wolf of Wall Street. And yeah, with 60 consultations, I had zero sales. Zero sales. And can you imagine? All I knew was that my house was going to continue to be at risk if I didn't do something about that. So I had constant anxiety where I couldn't sleep, but I knew that I didn't really have a choice. All I could do is just continue down the path and hope for the best. But I knew that my approach wasn't really working at the time either. So come to August 2017, this was actually my 68th consultation, or 60, yeah, around my 68th consultation, the floodgates start to open. Thank God that he offered this opportunity to me, but I ended up setting a good life sales record of 72,000 in 2 weeks. So I had 8 consultations straight where people just said, hey, Peter, I want to work with you. I believe that you're going to help me. And yeah, I ended up setting a good life sales record for the most amount of sales in August, which is probably the hardest month of the year when it comes to personal training. And the way I did this was I was working 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. over 60 hours a week. That was my schedule. And I was doing this from Monday to Saturday. So I thank God again that my mission was accomplished. I ended up making $10,000 in a month from just commission. And yeah, I saved my house from being sold. It's the same house that I'm sitting in right now. So that was probably one of the peaks that I had in my life. But like I said, no pain, no gain doesn't last forever, everybody. Like you can hustle. And as young as I am, so I'm about 27 years old, turning 28 in August. But even as young as I am, my body wasn't lasting as long as I thought it would be. So let's talk about what happens when you keep hustling. Because the main reason why I showed sharing this story to you guys is because as an entrepreneur, we have visions. We have things that are very important that are outside of us, right? We're not the most selfish people. If anything, we're the most selfless people in the world. We see a vision for people, and we can see what could happen as if people pursued and people figured out what kind of thoughts that we're going through, how much better the life would be around us if they knew what our vision was. And that's the reason why we keep hustling and hustling. We're going to sacrifice our body. We're going to sacrifice our sleep. We're going to sacrifice our health because we have this amazing vision for people. But the problem is, like I said, there's no such thing as no pain, no gain that lasts forever. So I actually burnt out in the fall of 2000, in 2018. That's when the 6 months was coming out. All the wear and tear that I let's just say I grew from over the years of powerlifting at the age of 25 with repetitive heavy loading, high stress stimulus. I ended up getting a disc herniation again at the young age of 25. A lot of joint damage, arthritis in my knees, tendinitis, fibromyalgia, low back problems, mid back, upper back, shoulder, neck, elbow, wrist, and knee pain. And I fried my nervous system to the point where I had insomnia for 3 days while I was working. I had constant anxiety. I was overthinking. I came back to the old indecisive self. I was thinking that I would never be normal ever again. And here's the thing. A lot of the studies show that strength training can actually prevent arthritis. Strength training can prevent tendinitis. Strength training can actually help you recover from low, mid, upper back, shoulder, neck, elbow, wrist, and knee pain. But the question is, how are you doing that? That's not what the studies show. All the studies show is that if you persist in some sort of heavy loading or high intensity interval training, there is 70% of the population or a good amount of people are seeing the results, and that's all people see. What's the overall outcome? But the question is, how is every single person moving? And we can't tell unless you watch instantaneously on the form and technique, the rhythm, how they feel when it comes to their emotional state in the middle of the exercise. What was their emotional state before and after the workout? How are they going to recover? How do they sleep? And these are all these psychological issues that we do not address during studies. So that being said, I knew that I could not help the people that I was working with. I felt extremely guilty going into work every single day because here I am being a fitness professional, somebody who has the expertise where people would pay me tens and thousands of dollars so that they can transform their body. But all of the information I knew led me to this point where I couldn't sleep for 3 days. I was creating insomnia. So this guilt came up, and every single day I didn't have the passion and the pride that I had going into this job. And I knew that if I continued to lose sleep every single day, that there would be something wrong with my heart, my brain. There would something would go wrong with my health at some point in my life. And I ended up quitting. So like I was very confused about my life, where it was going, because my resume until this point, I volunteered and practiced at chiropractic clinics, physiotherapy clinics, athletic therapy at my school, and I took a low back disorders clinic. I took tons of rehabilitation work because of my parents, and the science was right. But the question was, why was I always in pain, even when I followed the science? Like I took all the research that seemed right, and I went to professors, I went to therapists, and they were all reading the same research, but they ended up telling me that I was overthinking my pain. So I want you to think, if you're a person with some sort of pain or aching and you went to the physiotherapist, you went to the doctor, I want you to consider, is there a time in your life where they asked you that you're overthinking your pain? And if this is you, then I have a solution for you at the end of this, okay? So I had this realization that whatever I know is not working and whatever I'm doing is not working, right? So there was this burning desire to find different answers, and this is what caused me to search outside of what I studied. And there's a great breakthrough that happens when you can let's just say humble yourself to thinking that there is maybe another way to get to the same destination. And so I have a picture of Bruce Lee's because I actually met my own Bruce Lee. It's kind of crazy. So I was at the gym, and before I used to lift only. I used to do deadlifts, squats, and bench press, and I used to do a lot of weight training. And I knew that everything I was doing wasn't working, so I decided to just stop and just stretch. I had no experience with stretching or any kind of let's just say Eastern therapy work, but I saw this guy in the studio, and he was breakdancing. His movements looked so smooth, and I was thinking, there's no chance that that person has the pain that I have, because he looks so fluid. I'm sure that his blood circulation was amazing, and that's all I was thinking. I said, I think my blood circulation is awful. Like I'm always burnt out. I'm stiff. I have pain. So I went up to him and I asked him, hey, I want to learn how to do the arm wave. And he looked at me and he started laughing because he looks like a scary person. He actually looks like the leader of a Yakuza. Scary looking person. Looks really unapproachable. Number two, that was really random. Like, who goes up to a person and just asks someone to do the wave? And the last thing was, I was extremely stiff. So even if he taught me, he knew that he couldn't get me to do it at the time. But he laughed. He asked me that, hey, try this and do it for a week. And I ended up trying to do the arm wave on the floor in the gym for a week. And every time he came in, he kept on laughing at me, but I just kept on trying. And the week after, he ended up telling me, go to the pull-up bar and try to open up your shoulder joint and just breathe. And every single week, he just give me homework. And because I was actually doing it, he's I guess he kind of felt bad about making me do things. But there's one day where I was noticing there's like a very sharp pain at the top of my right shoulder and also my left hip. And for some reason, I connected the dots and I said, well, if this is occurring at the same time, what are the odds that they're connected? And at the time, I didn't understand muscular sling. This is what we called myofascial slings in kinesiology. But at the time, I didn't understand what that was. And but I knew that there was something going on. So I went to the gym and I took a foam roller and I was just rolling my left hip. The same Asian guy comes over and he says, what's wrong with your knee? And I said that, hey, I think that that's causing my shoulder pain on my right side. And he's like, can I see it? And I said, sure. And basically, I've done 4 years of chiro. I've done 4 years of like physio combined with other types of therapy from Canada. And I wasn't really afraid of people pressing into my body, but I kid you not, this guy is like the size of Bruce Lee. He's not so big. He didn't look as muscular as well. But when he pressed into my leg, it felt like someone was taking a metal pole and stabbing it into my knee. And I couldn't realize that it was just his two thumbs that he was pressing in. And but yeah, these are the myofascial slings. And here I am today. Ever since I met him, I learned about blood flow. And he was kind of like the bridge between the Western and Eastern therapies. And he taught me how to connect my mind, my body, and my soul, how you think, how you act, and how you feel. So on the right side, you can see me doing the splits. I was never a person of stretching up until this point. I never seen the value of stretching. So I went through an inner breakthrough, going through this whole spiritual experience, recognizing that how I think, how I act, and how I feel led up to the pains that I've went through. So I was still going through research. I still didn't feel confident about going back to personal training. So I ended up working at Ford, and I had a job that was paying me $120,000 a year, which was great. But it was definitely not the environment for me. It was a very blue collar environment, and I'm about like professionalism, respect, and compassion, and the way I would talk to people during sales. And this was definitely not that kind of environment. Everyone was throwing each other under the bus. There would constantly be physical fights inside the plant, and because of the anxiety, I ended up developing hives on my skin. And Joshua. Joshua was my manager at the time. When I first met him, he knew that I had hives walking into the job. I don't, maybe Omar might remember as well, but basically I knew that I couldn't continue this job at Ford because of the stress. If I let the stress continue to build up, it was going to take my life at some point. So there was an LA Fitness around the corner, and I have a great story. This was the story that Omar was talking about earlier. And so I walked into the nearby LA Fitness, and that's when I met Joshua and Omar. And so basically I walk in and I say, hey, is the fitness manager in today? And for some reason, Omar and Josh were there at the exact same time. Omar was never in the club. Like, he'd probably be in the club maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks, but I caught them at the right time. And in my eyes, I closed them on the job. They will say something else, but in my eyes, I closed them on the job. And the moral of the story is, you know, I walked in there knowing that I could deliver value to people. I wasn't even scared about getting a job or anything like that. All I knew was I'm a person who has this kind of life experience, who knows about stress, who knows about posture, who knows about increasing blood circulation, healing people's bodies. And this is definitely a skill that a gym would love to have. It had nothing to do with me trying to sell myself or anything like that. All I talked about was a vision of the future of me changing people's lives. But I told it as if it already happened in the past. And I think that's why it sold the story so well. I was so full of myself that I was talking about a future experience like as if it happened in the past. And I think that's exactly what connected the dots. Omar and Josh felt the certainty that this person really wants to be here. He really wants to help people. And that's the reason why I felt like I was a lot more firm than any person that they've met in their life when it came to sales. So, but here's the thing. I want you guys to all achieve this ultimate health, because when your mind is no longer on yourself, it's focused on the vision. And that's exactly who we are as entrepreneurs. We are all people who are focusing on a vision of the future where we're changing people's lives through this platform called Asira. And if we don't keep the vision alive, then something else is going to defeat us, right? And how common is it for people to have back pain while you're sitting at a desk all day? How common is it for you to have chest pain when you're trying to fall asleep? When you're constantly talking on a video call like I am right now, you're going to have a lot of aches and pains sitting in a certain position throughout the whole day. And also, because you're passionate about your work, you're going to be very focused, and you're going to be putting a lot of energy into the screen in front of you. So it's important to make sure that your health is regulated. So again, that you can continue to focus on the vision that you have for your community. So I have an intro video. So this is essentially where I am today. Okay, so the moral of the story is that while your health shouldn't take away from your vision, your mission, your purpose, and everything that you're living for, while it shouldn't take away from your health, it could and it will. And even though I may be younger than you or anybody that you compare yourself to, you are your youngest today. And that means next year from now, you're going to be a year older than you are today. And the year after, you're going to be another year older than you were last year and 2 years older than you were today. So no matter what, today is the best day to get started on your health, because every day you're going to get older. No matter what, we can't control time, but what we can do is control how we go through time. So again, today is your youngest day. And through my healing process, I developed the 4-step system that we talked about in this title. And all my clients have been going through this system. And I found this is the exact same formula I've created to recover from my own injuries and get me back to feeling young. So step 1 is what we call body awareness. And this is your protection formula for your future health. So body awareness is being aware of what blood flow is. That's the most important understanding of body awareness. That's the first lesson I've learned about spiritual health, blood flow, because what is inside our blood? Oxygen, water, nutrition, hormones, neurotransmitters, immune cells, and proteins. If you were to take at least one of those factors away, how would your life be? So if we took oxygen out of the system, what would our life be like? We'd probably die within the first 2 minutes. Water, we are 75+% water when we are healthy. But what happens when we're not healthy? The mass will show on the calculator that the average person who has at least 20 to 30% body fat is actually sitting at 50% water, right? So we're dehydrated. And what kind of things happen to your health when you have excess body fat? Right, so there's tons of problems. Nutrition, can't continue to grow our cells without nutrition. Hormones, can't regulate our system, like the parts of our functions without hormones, neurotransmitters, immune cells, and proteins. Okay, so here's how blood flow works. There's cells in our body. There's billions and trillions of cells in our body, even up to our toenails and our fingerprints, right? So 25 liters of blood is going to be circulating in your cardiovascular system every single minute, 25 liters. But the blood demand is prioritized based on the actions that we go through. For example, if you're walking, you're going to use your hips, your feet, and also your balance muscles. When you are climbing stairs, maybe your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes, and your calf muscles. When you're doing push-ups, when you're opening doors, when you're pulling, when you're lifting, different body parts, right? And also the same happens when it comes to stress. When you have fear, the blood will go to the adrenal glands and also your feet because you have to run away. When you are feeling love, your body's going to send blood to the heart because it wants to pump out this hormone called oxytocin, which increases dilation of the blood vessels and it'll also increase oxygen to every single cell in your body. So the question is, where is your blood going? So when you lack blood, this is how we get inflammation and degeneration of your body, right? So things like low back degeneration, knee degeneration, this is what we call arthritis and osteoarthritis. And when we lack filtration, this is when things swell, and that's cause for disease and infection. So this is what body awareness is. Okay, is my health getting better or is it getting worse at every single moment? Okay, so blood flow priorities. I want to explain what's going on in COVID-19 because this is extremely important to understand how the stress response works. So the biology of the stress response works exactly like this. When you're getting chased by a bear or fighting a disease, what do you think your body's priority is? Do you think your body's going to be worried about COVID-19 when a bear is licking and is drooling and it's licking its face and it's thinking, I am starving? What is your body going to go through at the time? Most likely it's not going to be caring so much about fighting this disease that you have inside. It's probably going to be wanting to run away so that you can go to a spot where you're safe, and then you can fight the disease on your downtime. So the thing that I want you to understand about this is, when your body has extreme fear of whether it's going to wake up the next day, this is what elicits a fight or flight response. This is what we call the adrenal glands, right? And when you are in fear, when you're in fight or flight, the blood is going to go to the systems that allow you to run, fight, or hide. And this is exactly why your body can't send that same energy and blood to fight that disease. So what does this mean about COVID-19 and fear? Fear prioritizes blood to the fight or flight system. It takes it away from your immune system. So this is what really makes me just say frustrated, when the news and the media isn't giving direction. What they're telling you is how many people are dying, what kind of things are Canadians and Americans and people around the world, how are they struggling? We should be getting direction. We should be getting how to improve your immunity. We should be getting lessons on, okay, we're going to be in this for the next few weeks. Let's just all start from the very beginning and be strict, and then get out of this quickly. Let's have a plan. But the thing is, everyone is going with the flow. We're all going step by step, day by day, and hoping for the best. And this is exactly why it's lingering. Whereas certain countries like South Korea were very strict and they went right to a system. So that being said, what's going to change your life is by being aware of your fears. You got to notice that as soon as you have fear and stress, this takes away from your immune system. And I learned this lesson when I worked at Ford. When I worked at Ford, I was constantly dreading going into work. I was constantly worried about waking up, and I didn't even want to go back to work every single morning. And that was the only time I had let's just say hives on my skin. I never get sick. I never go to the doctor. I'm not saying that I'm not because of my youth, but because I'm constantly trying to make myself healthier. But the only time I had hives was when I had immense amounts of stress. So if you are constantly going through stress throughout your day as an entrepreneur, where is your blood going? It's going to go to your adrenal glands. It's going to your muscles, even though it's just a thought in your head. When you have financial stress, it's still going to go to the same stocks, because how you think, how you act, and how you feel are exactly the same thing. So the question is, how long do you think you can sustain the fight or flight response? Because this is, as long as you have a problem, it's going to still be there when you're sleeping. When you're about to go to sleep and you have a problem with finances, or you have a problem with someone at work, it's always going to be at the back of your head until you have that solution. So what could happen to your body when the stress response is prolonged? If you look at the right screen at the very bottom, on the left side, you see pupils dilate, tunnel visions, constant surveillance of surroundings. Breath is shallow and fast. Heartbeat is faster and noticeable. Increased sweating, insomnia, and ADD, ADHD type symptoms. How long do you think your body can stay in this stress response? So this is what fight or flight response is. This is what fear does to your body on a physiological level, just because of psychological thoughts. Okay, so that being said, once you are aware of what your problems are, now you can start to make decisions and progress and plan your workouts accordingly. So people have to go through this system where you deal with your stress first. And why I say this is because we're not exactly children anymore. We're not people with fresh bodies. We're not people who haven't rolled their ankles before. We're people who sit in chairs now. We have constant, let's just say, postures that we're staying in, whereas children, they're fresh, right? So they don't have to go through a recovery system like we do. We have a lot of health debt, right? So just like money, if you have debt, it's going to be really hard to invest your money. So stress management is like the difference between what your body is going through, if it's in a survival state or if it's in a recovery state. So your body's in either one of the two. So nature is either preserving or growing. So if you think about a plant, it's either in a growing stage or let's just say it's at the end of its life, right? So when you're in survival, your blood is prioritized to your extremities, like your hands and your feet, and your core so that you could sprint away from your problems. When you are in recovery mode, your blood actually prioritizes to your organs in the center of your body so that it can create the necessary hormones that recover your system and keep you living longer. So what's the urgency of health? If you have muscle damage, how urgently do you need to go to the hospital? Probably not likely, right? If you have like an ache in your shoulder or wrist, you're just going to like think about your pain, but you're not going to do anything about it because you know it's not urgent. But what about organ damage? Organ damage will cause you to go to the emergency room immediately, right? So that being said, what is going to really take away from your future if you have muscle damage or if you have organ damage? The truth of the matter is, if you have organ restriction in blood flow, it actually shows up in muscle, because where is the blood coming from? Where are the blood priorities? It's the organs first. So blood will go to the organs and whatever is left ends up going to the muscle. And that's where we start to feel trigger points. Okay, so emotions versus body tension exercise. I want you to look at the emotions on the right of the screen. And I want you to start from gratitude. So I want you to answer, is it tense or is it loose? Is the blood flow improved or is it restricted? Or are you in a survival or recovery state? So gratitude, joy, love, everything at the top of the screen is going to be recovery hormones and recovery thinking, right? And at the bottom, doubt, fear, anger, insecurity, worries, anxiety, judgment, etc. Those are your survival hormones. So these are my favorite doctors in the world: how you think, how you act, and how you feel. So what they found was that there are 23,000 active genes in the body. However, there are over 1 million different types of genes, but 23 of them are active, 23,000. And genes are coded based on the chemicals that are in our bloodstream. So what are chemicals? They're emotions. So the thing is, depending on your emotional state, these are like the conditions that allow genes to be coded. So they're going to be stress hormones that are being coded in stress blood, and they're going to be recovery hormones that are elicited in recovery emotions. So just let's take a look at the bottom left. Your perception in any given moment, any given thing can influence brain chemistry, which in turn affects the environment where your cells reside and control their fate. It is the emotions that turn gene expression on or off. And what studies are showing is that human emotion, heart-based emotion, is the signals that literally influence the DNA of our body. So it's very important to consider your emotional state and your self-image. All right, so we're almost done over here. So stress management. How do you manage your stress? There are 6 pillars of health, and 3 are from lifestyle and 3 are from fitness. Okay, so the first stress management tool is to combine the health factors of how you think, how you act, and how you feel. So not mental, but how you feel, how you act, your body, your mind, your body, your soul, your mental, your emotional, and physical traits. Okay, so mental, physical, and emotional stress. Second, nutrition. So outside of thinking about calories, we got to think about what kind of vitamins and minerals, and these are what we call micronutrients, vitamins and minerals. These are the parts of a food that allow you to actually have hormonal function. Calories are just energy molecules. Okay, so what we really want to consider is your blood in acidic or alkaline condition? Because our blood acidity is 7 pH when we're healthy, right? But every kind of processed food that we consume, all the sugars, the unhealthy fats, the stress hormones cause our blood to go into an acidic state. And when we're in an acidic state, it's stress hormones. You have stress hormones, you create stress genes. All right, so the next thing is sleep. Are you having trouble falling asleep? Are you having trouble staying asleep? So when it comes to sleep, when you have a lot of thoughts when it comes to the future, it's going to be a lot of thoughts in your mind, and that's why you have trouble falling asleep. When you have trouble staying asleep, is because your body is exhausted and is lacking oxygen, and it's afraid of going to sleep. It's afraid of staying asleep because there's not enough oxygen in your body. So how you can change this is through fitness, okay? So you can improve your endurance, and your cardiovascular endurance and your muscular endurance. Endurance just really means, are you enduring? Enduring in metabolic states where you need oxygen, water, and constant nutrition circulating inside your body. That's what endurance is. So the solution is make sure you never get hurt by focusing on movement technique, and also patience. You know, the journey is a lifelong journey. As long as we need to be healthy, we have to train our health. Next is flexibility, blood fluidity at rest. That's what flexibility is to me. It's what is your blood fluidity at rest? So for example, if you have pain when you're sitting, when you're standing for prolonged periods of time, that's where we're lacking flexibility. If you think about someone who's doing the splits, and you're going to notice that, hey, well, this person is flexible, but why? It's because while they're sitting at rest, they're having blood fluidity. Okay, so the last part is mobility, and this is your blood fluidity while you're moving. So this is what I call your mobile ability. That's what mobility is. So if you have pain during movement, you have a lack of mobility. Okay, so you don't have more movement coordination, which means that your solution is to train your balance and your coordination. Okay, so for the sakes of time, I'm going to skip health savings. As health savings essentially mean that when you're in debt and you come out of debt, do you call your friends up right away and say, hey, let's go to the bar and buy a bunch of drinks because I'm finally out of debt? That's just going to bring you back to debt, right? So health savings just mean, are you taking care of your health, where 6 to 12 months of your life is away from the doctor, where you don't have to worry about the doctor, right? So I find that a lot of people, they just get to health, which is about 20% body fat for males and 25% body fat for females, but they get really excited that they want to see faster results, right? So if you're trying to accelerate your results, it's like investing 10 grand into a fund with a 10% return while you still have $10,000 on your credit card at a 20% interest. Like, is it really worth investing your money? You need, like there's two types of drivers, right? There's a type A driver and a type B driver. Two customers buy the same car and they buy it at the same time. But type A just drives a little more aggressively on a regular basis. So which car is going to have a higher resale value after 5 years? It's most likely going to be the person who takes care of their car, right? And it's no different when it comes to your health. You got to make sure that you're trying to drive as if you're trying to make it last. All right. So like I said, there is normal health versus protected health. Normal health just means that, you hit that borderline where you're not in the obesity range, but at the same time, you're not exactly in the fit range. But if you kept pushing a little bit further to the point you got to 15% body fat as a male or 20% body fat as a female, where you start to see your ab lines, where you start to notice that you're breathing and you're more lighter, what's going to happen to your joints in the future? What's going to happen to your sleep? How's your energy going to be throughout the day? So as much as we think we are at our goal, just keep pushing a little further, because wouldn't we want a little cushion? Like when you go to your Thanksgiving dinners, when you go to your outings with your friends, don't you want to be able to consume the foods and alcohol and all the things that could increase our health risks? Don't you want to consume those things without having guilt, fear, anxiety? Don't you want to just feel normal for a second and relate with people, right? So this is the benefits of working on your health. Okay, so coming back to this question, what is your number one health goal as an entrepreneur, which will 10 times your business? So fitness investment, we're going to skip over this because it's not really the immediate, let's just say, goal in mind. So thank you so much for watching my presentation. I just have a few following steps for you before we go to the Q&A. So first thing, this was the most exciting thing to talk about today. What I want to do for you guys, if you look at number 2, I have a plan for the Sierra Mastermind that we're in. I really love the family that we're in already. And I do plan on having a 12:30, just before the power hour. I would love to offer you a 30-minute oxygenation and full body restoration workout. And this is going to be daily outside of a few days where I have some prior commitments, but I would love to show you the physical experience of trying to transform your body within 30 minutes prior to the power hour. And what this is going to do is it's going to increase blood circulation to every cell in your body before the power hour to increase focus, attention, and concentration. And what the cost is of this program is complimentary with the ASIRA Association. It does not cost you anything. This is my thank you for being invited to this community. So this is the most exciting thing for me to talk about today. I want to show you guys how much your life will change just by getting blood circulation to your brain, your hands, and your feet prior to these impactful meetings that we have. And also, if you're a person who is kind of, you had goals that were kind of sitting at the back of your head, whether it's, recovering from pain, losing weight, increasing your strength and energy, flexibility, whatever your health goals are, and you needed a little bit of guidance, you didn't know who to really trust, I do want to offer also a 1 hour complimentary coaching call. And essentially it's going to be an assessment, a 30-minute workout, which is the recovery workout specified to your posture. And I'm going to help you create your ultimate health plan. So this is for people who need a little bit of structure, and they would love the education and awareness of what is going on with their body. And this will give you the confidence to see results in the future. So again, this is complimentary with the Assyria Association. Anybody who would like a complimentary coaching call, this is up for grabs. And last but not least, I'm thinking of doing a 7-week body awareness Kickstarter. So if you look at my logo on the bottom right, I have 7 different colors going up the person, and these are what we call chakras. And this is what gave me the full body awareness to understanding how I should train my body in an Eastern therapeutic setting. So the goal of this course is to reduce your pain sensors with therapeutic exercises, is to reduce your stress and your pain, is to increase your strength and energy and productivity. It's just to create a mind, body, soul connection with your body in a Eastern and Western setting, right? So you're going to lose weight, you're going to lose body fat, you're going to just feel younger, okay? So what I'm offering here is 30-minute group classes 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 4 o'clock in Eastern time. And it comes with an additional 30-minute one-on-one coaching call that you will be able to ask me questions specifically and get specific homework based on your posture again, okay? So I'm planning on doing this for June 1st. This is going to be a few weeks from now. The cost is going to be a one-time payment of $1997 or 3 biweekly payments of $697. I'm only taking 10 people. Right now, I just have it open. So if this is something that you think you'll benefit from, it'll transform your life, I'm open for the conversation. But thank you so much for watching my presentation. And I will leave the last few minutes for Q&A. But yes, thank you so much for your attention today.
Amazing. Peter Jung, everyone. That was incredible, Peter. Hello, everyone. Fasana here. I have taken over as the host of this call, or hostess, I should say. Peter, just wow. You really, really took the principles, the understandings, the philosophies of both the Eastern and Western cultures and understandings and truths and really delivered so much value. I was over here commenting on Facebook, having mic drop moments from you this entire time. So thank you, my friend, for such an amazing, amazing job in delivering so much value and so much content. I know that we didn't have many questions, but I do want to say, Debbie is saying, well done, Peter. Debbie is saying amazing. Carrie is in. I'm in. Annie Koshi is in. Venny Cochran is in. There are so many people that are excited who are already within our Asira family to take you up on that offer. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you very much. Wow. All I'm going to say, Peter, is I am putting you on the spot right now. I am volunteering you for a part 2 of that amazing training, if that's okay with you.
I definitely want to do a part 2, but more importantly, I want to stay connected and actually offer you guys to come in with me 30 minutes before the 1 o'clock call every single day. Outside of the days I say, hey, I have because I have another coaching call that I have to attend sometimes.
Absolutely. I love it.
Just show you guys, because if you ask Omar, if he opens up his mic, he knows that every Saturday I had a free class I did at the gym. Right. And it just took away people's pain for that. Like if it could take away pain without any medications, any kind, it's just your own body, people feel extremely safe about healing themselves. And
yes,
I just want to give a little taste before they really, really invest in committing to changing their health. So yeah, this is all complimentary. I just want to give tons of my insight with you. Like I was blown away with Adam's speech yesterday. So yes, I knew I had to step up my game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love this community. Any questions? I would love to just
Yes. So we do have a question from the beautiful Carrie Weber Young. Carrie, if you want to unmute yourself to ask your question, please go ahead.
First of all, Peter Jung, we must be related. I love that.
yeah.
Forever young. So I have an actual question that I've asked several times, and I'm really looking for the right answer. I don't think I've received it. So I work out every day for an hour.
Okay.
But I've been reading some research that after 40, you can actually overwork out and create stress in the body, which creates cortisol. And that's a huge one for me. And I'm looking for an answer. So even if you don't have it, I would love for your expertise to go back and find the answer, because I don't want to keep working out for an hour if it's actually causing stress and cortisol. And if I can get it done in 20 minutes, I'm good with that too.
Okay. Yeah, no, great question. I'm going to have an extremely different answer than you've probably heard. So this is coming from the Eastern therapies. Okay. So again, I have pictures of my favorite guys in the back, but the 3 doctors you have to listen to is Dr. Joe Dispenza, here, I'll actually write it in the chat later. I should do it now. So these are the people that you must, if you want to kind of get an idea of how I think, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Dr. Greg Braden, and Dr. Joe Lipton. No, Bruce Lipton.
Yes.
Okay, so these are my favorite doctors, and they talk about the relationship between your consciousness, every single cell that occurs, like that happens in your body, and cortisol is essentially a stress hormone. Okay, so the thing is, we know what stress generally feels like. It's kind of like a little buzz in your head. You feel a buzz in your body. You feel jittery, but you don't feel good, and that's what we call cortisol. That's the first signs of inflammation, and it's very subjective to every single person, and it's really subjective to the emotional state that you're in the past, right? So every person that I work with when it comes to the gym, if they're not in a good state, we don't do any high intensity exercise. If they're in a bad state, we do flexibility, breathing, meditation, oxygenation workouts, because that's what their body is demanding at the given moment. So that's why I say I can't really give you an answer for the age of 40. I can't give you the answer for the 1 hour workout, is because I don't know your current emotional state at the time going into the workout, right? So that's such a that's why these studies are very, very black and white. Not black and white, but it's gray, excuse me, because they can't control a person's emotional experience at that time, right? So that's why even what did they say? Women go through menopause at the age of 40, but it's no different than periods. Some women are able to handle the cramps from the periods a lot better than some others are. Some people don't get affected on their mood. You can't even see it, but they're dying inside, right? It depends on how they see like what's going on in their life. Is it a blessing or is it a suffering? And that in turn can actually accelerate and make the stresses a lot more worse than it has to be. So one of the things I really like to teach personal trainers is try to teach your clients how to feel good about low intensity first, because when you feel good about an exercise, when you feel calm, your consciousness is able to focus on movement quality. And then from there, then you can start to focus on endurance. Then you can start to focus on speed. But your attention has to be on the sensors of whether your joints are grinding, whether your balance is on the right spot, whether you're pressing the right points, whether you're breathing at the right time. Those are the qualities of every single pattern at a given instantaneous moment that we should be focusing on, not, oh, I'm going to hit 10 reps today and I hit 9 yesterday, right? Because what if you're in a position where you lack sleep? You're probably not going to, right, effectively execute an exercise. So for me, I take it by the day. Like I try my best, I oxygenate myself, and
Best
right?
answer I've ever heard.
Oh yeah, okay, thank you.
Bar none. Thank you. That makes a lot of sense. So essentially what you're saying is listen to myself, listen to my EQ.
You are your doctor. Like you are the best doctor, right?
I love that. You guys take that note.
Yeah. So
I love it.
everyone can tell you an answer about your health, but essentially until they can empathize with you and actually tell you that, you know, they can't be that doctor for you, right? Like once you can't do everything you can to reduce your stress, and it's still not working, that's when I go to a medical doctor, right? But other than that, we have to realize how much we are empowered to make our own decisions and how we're able to actually control our emotional state and improve the alkalinity of our blood just through breathing, how we can reduce pain and stress and tension in an area just by stretching. If we knew what to do, then we're going to get to where we want. So I find that as long as people know what the basic steps is to take care of their health, they'll feel a lot more better about going to the doctor. But if you don't even know how to do the necessary steps, like the very basic steps, then every single time you have a sniffle or you cough a little bit, we're going to think we have corona, right? That's what the main problem is. We cough a little bit and people freak out. I'm like, you'll know if you have COVID, okay? Then go. If you really have a problem, then go. But if you just have like little sniffles here and there, then it's not a sign to freak out and actually reduce your immune system where you can actually get COVID-19, right? So as long as you're in a good emotional state, your body is able to take the same blood and put it in your thymus gland, put it in your spleen, and create new blood cells that allow you to actually heal your body. Okay, so I'm done. But
love it so much. Peter,
everybody bring more people to the calls and let's make your family much bigger.
Peter Jung, you are such a wealth of knowledge and information, and therefore I'm excited to have us schedule you in again for another Power Hour. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up our incredible Power Hour for today. Again, thank you for being here. Tomorrow, we are back at it at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Timing with none other than the one, the only Mr. Joshua Croyer. Josh, am I saying your last name right? I hope so. Are you here? Do you want to pop on for just a second and let everyone know what you'll be speaking on tomorrow?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and yeah, you said my name perfectly. It's absolutely
perfect.
Yeah, so no, I just want to say really quickly, Peter, that was amazing today. Thank you for sharing everything. I've definitely learned continuously from you. Tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about how to get started on a new journey, whether it's your health, whether it's your fitness, whether it's hopping on business in a new business endeavor. I'm going to be talking about 5 steps that I use to make sure that when I get started, I overcome the discouragement. I have some sort of systematic process to overcome all the negative and all the hardships that change brings, right? Because all of us have started something new that we really wanted, but sometimes we don't get it. And we try again and we don't get it. So I just put together some 5 simple steps that I hope people are going to benefit from tomorrow.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gents, you heard it here first. We will see you tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Timing. Thank you again for joining us and have a wonderful Saturday. Bye for now.
Thank you, everyone.